One other thing that I'd want to know is how can AI help us measure, right, and improve customer engagement metrics? You get it? How do you even identify what its metrics are? How do you measure it, and how do you improve it?
Yeah. So I think as a business, there are some type of metrics that are really essential for you. And we want to start looking at it from a lot of ways. So the first thing is probably, let's say that we've deployed an AI tool that we are using. We want to talk about maybe an AI assistant that we are using to support customers. For a tool like this, the way that I'm thinking about it is that I want to start measuring the impact. Okay, how many responses am I doing? What's the conversation look like? And I feel like if customers are engaging with my brand or my business, the most important thing for me that I want to know is what are they asking? Okay, so what do people care about? What are they really like requiring? What do they want to know about my brand? And that can help me make informed decisions about how to assist them. So the request, what they are looking for, the behavior, right? How frequently are they asking for these things? And that can actually help me to know the things or the solutions that I can give them to satisfy them. I think another thing is sentiment. Okay, how are people feeling about my brand? Are they more negative? Are they positive? Or are they just neutral? I'm sure if I'm able to provide exceptional support to my customers, even if they are frustrated, that can translate to a really positive sentiment. So it's about understanding how I engage with my audience, the kind of offering that I'm giving them, measuring all these things, and then I'm using AI to help me make sense of all that data that I'm gathering to make even more informed decisions.
Okay. Now that I think we've dragged into the customer insights conversation,
Right.
now that we are there, let's get into the technical part of it. So there are two different elements. First is gathering the data, right? That's the customer insights,
Yeah.
gathering that, and then second is making sense of it, right? What are the ways that you can gather customer insights or customer sentiments through AI or with AI?
Okay.
Right? What are the ways? What are the options that are available? Let's like very practical. What are the steps that businesses need to take to be able to gather those insights, right? And then how do they make meaning out of it?
So I think the first thing you want to do is what are the touch points? How do customers engage with your business or your brand? So, for example, let's say you have a website. The first thing is probably people go on your website and they see some contact information. They want to contact you. So these are like channels and places that you have that you are engaging with your customers, even on social media. So that's like the ways that you can start collecting this data. So the first thing I probably want to do is implement some AI tools that can help me to collect some data points. So maybe an AI assistant or a chatbot is something that you probably can install on your website. Stuff like that. That way you can actually measure engagement. You can engage with your customers. You can track all these things. Like we said earlier, I want to know what conversations and what's on top of my customers' mind. What are they asking about my brand? So that's the first point. The touch point is that I'm implementing something that can help me to collect this data point. And then once I have that data point, I'm able to make sense of it, right?
So if say I have a conversational chatbot,
Yeah.
right? Customer comes in, puts in their request or they are sent, maybe they're angry, right? So I have 50 different conversations, right, in that chatbot. I'm not behind. I'm not talking to the customer
Yeah.
manually. It is the AI that is doing that. So the information is there. You mean I can use the same AI platform to interpret all of that data that is coming in? And how do I do that?
Exactly. So I think one thing that people do, just imagine like how I'm speaking to you right now. At the end of the day, if I actually want to gather all the data from the conversation that we are having, I would need to find a medium to actually record it.
Right.
So either by audio or actually writing it. If I write it, I would have to type it, right? Then I can go back to refer. The good thing with the AI thing is that it's actually already passing through the AI tech thing. Okay, so the conversations are being monitored, recorded, right? As a brand, you have access to all those information that can be analytics for you. And then you can look at how often, how frequently, and in fact, the main concern or topics that people are conversing about with your AI assistant. And then you can actually use all this data to make sense. Yeah.
Recently, I saw on Twitter that you can use AI to interpret a financial statement, right? So you input your financial statement. This is the revenue that came in this year.
Yeah.
These are the expenses that came in. This was the cash flow, right? Then you ask it to interpret it for you. Then it will be able to say, okay, maybe your key revenue streams are A, B, C, and D. You are spending more money on so and so and so. Your cash flow seems to be very inconsistent. These are some of the things that you can do to improve your cash flow and all of that, which is very brilliant, right? I mean, first you need to have the data
Exactly.
to feed to it, That's not like those questions that you can ask to get some of these things. For a beginner who doesn't know their way around conversational AI, right? What steps should they take? So if I want to measure customer insights, what step by step, what do I need to do first? So what do I do last?
Yeah. So I think the first thing you want to do is identify an AI tool, okay, that can help you to achieve the specific goal that you're looking at. So let's take Copyanto, for example. Copyanto offers conversational AI sort of assistant or a chatbot sort of thing that you can integrate into your apps, your website, or anywhere that your customers engage with you. And at the end of the day, what you want to do is that once this engagement is going on, you are able to track all that. So the first thing, like I've said, is you want to identify the tool that is suitable for the goal that you are trying to accomplish. And then you implement this thing. So you implement Copyanto. You first go on Copyanto, you create an account, you can sign up, and then you create an app. Once you are done, you can integrate it into your channel or your website or any app, and then it's going to start tracking all those sort of things. So at this point, we've passed the identification of the tool. We've passed like implementation. Now, the next thing you want to do is monitor it. So you track it over time, and then you want to understand what people are asking, what people are concerned about. And then using that data, you can make more informed decisions about how to support them and how to provide even more services that can make sense to them.
I want to narrow on that. How can we use the AI? I'm saying the AI like it's
the AI, right?
How can we use AI to predict future customer behavior, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now we have the data.
Yeah.
How are we able to tell that in the future, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, these are the patterns that our customers are going to take?
Yeah. So I think one of the most important things or the advantages of using AI is the fact that the data is, in fact, being recorded from stage one. One of the issues that people have with data analysis is that sometimes the data is not available or it's not even accurate. But with this one, because you've implemented it, you can always find that data. And over time, you are able to use that to predict what the future outcome could be. So one of the ways that you can even use a tool like Copyanto is as a co-pilot. You can use AI as a co-pilot within your organization internally. So that co-pilot is now going to tell you that, okay, all these customers are talking about this. All these customers are buying more of this product. And they more of them are located in these areas, right? And these are the demographics that these customers that we have are found in. So then if I know that I have more parents or more moms, then and I'm an e-commerce brand, I probably would now focus on providing things that mothers need or parents need, okay? Because that's what the data is telling me. And over time, it can help me to be more profitable because I'm making sense of it. It's not like I'm just keeping the data.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to be able to do all of these things, meaning you are gathering data points on your customers.
Exactly.
Or people who are using your conversational channels. Assuming it's not even conversational, and then you're an e-commerce platform, so they have patterns, they have habits. They need to input their bio data, so their name, their location, all of that as well. They need to input their credit card statements. You need to track what they are purchasing the most, how often they are purchasing, how much they are spending on all of that, their location, where they are delivering to. You need to be able to track all of those things and record them to be able to use AI to interpret them. So now it brings up ethical questions. What are, again, the ethical considerations for using AI to measure customer data or to do customer analysis?
This is a very interesting one. I know when we talk of this ethical stuff, it sounds like very crazy to people. Okay. The truth is that regardless of what app you use, whether it's not even AI or it's AI, okay, there are a lot of things that has some data component. Okay. So a lot of organizations try to keep that in check. The first thing you want to do is, I feel like transparency and consent is really important. The data that you are collecting from your customers, for the most part, it's important to let them know that this is the data that we collect. This is how we use this data. Okay. So once you give them that, there's that transparency, there's that consent. It makes a lot of sense. The other thing is the fact that a lot of organizations can really, I'm just trying to look at how best to explain this thing. Okay. Because if I go on any website and I put in my credit card details and all that, you see, this is not really even an AI conversation, but there's some sort of payment data and bio data about the customer. I have that information, right, as a business. And I need to be able to protect that data so that it doesn't like get into the wrong hands. Exactly. This is something that's already happening. Okay. There's a lot of rules, regulations, and in fact, things that govern how you handle stuff like that. I think it's sort of the same thing, regulations around AI, how you use customer data. Okay. One of the things that people is coming up lately is prompt and prompting. Like, should AI companies use the prompt that customers are using to generate something? Okay. This is a very interesting ethical question, because at the end of the day, that prompt can help the companies to make more informed decisions and the models to improve. Okay.
But sorry, not to cut you. Do you think? Let me throw the question back at you. Do you think that AI companies should be keeping that data, to be recording that data? I mean, it goes to them anyways. It's not. I've not seen any platform that has said that whatever prompt that you input is encrypted and they don't see it, right? Meaning that somehow they are learning from you, the user, as well, right? Aside the end, maybe the business or whatever that is using it, the company itself is also seeing frequently what you are searching for. It doesn't become any different from Google knowing what you are searching for to retarget you with ads, right? Do you think AI companies should be keeping data like that? Should be saving data like that?
There are both like advantages and disadvantages to something like this. Now, from the ethical point of view, it would not be a good thing for an AI company to store a data like this inappropriately, because it is good that you store it, right? But in a right way. For example, a lot of telecom companies actually have your data, right? And sometimes they do sell your data, by the way.
You receive like regular SMS, some random SMS from some random company. Yeah,
that's your telecom company selling your data. Except that what they are not going to do is say Clinton or Kofi that stays here,
or he lives here.
Exactly, lives here. This is his number.
I believe they have things like beyond the number. Maybe the age groups, because there are people who are looking for, say, students, right? When I was in school, for instance, you could get message that are very targeted at you because you're a student, right? So they're able to segment the age groups if you're a student or you are working or something like that.
Yeah. So all that data is actually available, but one thing is that it's anonymized, right? So I won't be able to tell that this is for this person or it's for that person, except that when aggregated, it just helps to make sense of the demography, but not the person. So I think the same way AI companies are able to anonymize some data like this, so it's not actually tied to an actual human being, right? Exactly. So in a way like this, the advantage is that it can help the models to actually get better without actually exposing who is behind that sort of
information.
Right? Exactly.
Okay. So let me go into personalizing offerings for businesses, right?
Yeah.
Now you've been able to learn from the AI, right? Understand customer sentiments and all of that. Now, how do you also leverage AI to personalize the offerings based on the customer insights?
Yes. So using AI, you see, AI is like smart, and AI is able to do a lot of things. Like, as a human being, in order for you to remember the things that your 10 customers actually said they wanted, or even you had like 10 meetings, they are trying to remember everything, you definitely can't remember anything or most of them. But with AI, actually, you can keep track of all these sort of things. You can actually have personalized conversation with a customer as an AI or using AI. And the advantage of personalization is that you can actually use that to tailor, one, the responses, the emotions, how you respond to the customer, the tone. Imagine a customer that's angry and sending a message that is very rude to you. Sometimes, if you don't take care as a human being, right, you'll be able
to blow back.
Yeah, you realize that when you call a telecom company and you are really furious and you are just blasting them on the phone, they are quiet, right? I'm sure they actually mute themselves and they'll be talking just so you can't hear them. But with an AI, right, it really just understands the emotion behind what's happening and takes that into consideration and then can personalize the response to you. So it's not monotonous. So based on how you feel, you can get a matching response. The other thing with that is that personalization can really help so that you can cross-sell to your customer or your audience. So for example, you see that this customer is asking more of this sort of things. Let's say you're an educational institution and someone is asking more about admissions questions for specific courses. Then you know that this is something really important to them, and you can now propose such a thing to them, right? And try and cross-sell it to them.
Right. I believe that we as marketers, one question that we are always asked is, what do the customers really want, right? Whenever we are working on marketing strategies, like, what do they really want? There are times that you can easily misinterpret what a particular audience, audience want. You present them a new product or a new offer and realize that it doesn't sell, right? You can be in a situation where maybe you have a restaurant, you have 3 or 4 customers coming in to say, okay, do you have jollof over here? Right? You know, let me go and start selling jollof. And you realize that it was just those 4 customers out of the 200 potential customers who want jollof, right? So we keep asking ourselves, do people really want this thing? And how many of them want it, right? So now if we have a model that people converse with frequently, and we're able to learn from the data to know that, okay, out of, say, 200 people who came in to converse with this platform, about 50% of them are saying that they want this particular product or they want this particular offering. Or 50% of them were searching for these offerings that are not available, right? Then it informs us that they are interested in this, and this is a new offering that we should introduce. Beyond that, people go onto your platforms to look for answers to certain problems, right? Like you have an issue with your network provider, you reach out to them in the DMs, they are not giving the response you're looking at. So say you go onto a conversational platform, right? And then they come to ask, how do I reset my mobile money PIN, right? And this information that's not available on your social media, and that's the reason why they reached out to you. You get it? If you're able to learn from this and you know that, okay, there are a couple thousand or 2,000 followers or customers who are searching for this information that's not available, then it informs you that, okay, then I need to create that content to target them. I need to make it available, make it known to them that this is a solution that already exists. And you'll be surprised to know that for a lot of businesses, there are a lot of their offerings that are not known. Myself, as someone who runs a company, I'm sure people know me for certain services and not the other services, right? I know other businesses who have their core offerings that everyone knows, and then there are other offerings that people don't know about, right? So if someone comes into search for something I already have, they know, okay, this particular offering that I have, people are searching for it because they don't know that it exists. And they're not patronizing, they're not purchasing it. So then I need to redirect some of my efforts towards highlighting those products. And if it's not available, just making it available to people because they have said they want it. And the data is there to show that people actually want it, right?